Three true scary wedding horror stories, and yours is not included by Mr. Nightmare. What's good, dog? How you day going? Morning, evening, night, whenever you're watching this video. I ain't gonna do a long intro, not gonna talk your ears off, and I'm playing. I know your wedding was amazing, right? But either way it go, though. Hey, if you want to check out the original video, link will be in the description below. But let's go.
My wife and I got married in the Church of the Little Flower in Coral Gables, Florida in 2017. We invited all of our close friends and family, including the family that neither of us really liked, because that's just what you're supposed to do. My wife Allie has this estranged aunt Chelsea that no one in her family is really close with. She used to have serious drug problems. It spiraled her down a path that just led to a rift between her and the rest of the family. Well, Aunt Chelsea was invited to the wedding, and when she showed up, she surprisingly came with a date, but unsurprisingly, he didn't look like the kind of guy you want to bring home to mom and dad.
Of course.
From the first time I laid eyes on him, I knew he was different, not in a pleasant, quirky way. After the wedding ceremony, of course, came picture time. The 6 bridesmaids, 6 groomsmen, and my wife and I all went to this nice backyard section of the church campus to have pictures taken by the hired photographer. Some close family from both sides came along as well to watch while most others went to the party hall. Aunt Chelsea and her date came to watch us take pictures as well. This was when I first got his name, Rob. The two of them were making everyone uncomfortable, like everyone in the bridal party would joke around.
He ain't playing. That's not his name. That's a hint, huh?
She and her date came to watch us take pictures as well. This was when I first got his name, Rob. The two of them were making everyone uncomfortable, like everyone in the bridal party would joke around and we'd genuinely laugh. Then either Chelsea or Rob would yell out these weird, inappropriate things. They just kept doing it to the point where they created awkward silences, and all of us were just internally cringing, dreading what weird things they'd say next. It got very awkward very quickly, let's just say that, to the point I wanted them.
I ain't gonna lie, I love them kind of situations because cringe in person is the funniest ish ever, dog. I do ish to keep on recreating it, to keep making them do like awkward ish and watch everybody else just cringe. But no, for real, no, stop playing. Auntie gotta go. Her and her little date. I hate when people bring strangers to family events, big family events too. Oh, that pisses me off.
Came along as well to watch while most others went to the party hall. Aunt Chelsea and her date came to watch us take pictures as well.
I went back too far.
This was when I just kept doing it to the point where they created awkward silences, and all of us were just internally cringing, dreading what weird things they'd say next. It got very awkward very quickly, let's just say that, to the point I wanted them to leave altogether. Anyway, we eventually finished with pictures. Then we migrated to Comber Hall, the party hall connected to the church, where food and drinks were being served. Being the groom, all the attention is on you at all times. You barely have a chance to sit down and gather your thoughts or even eat. Every second I had someone else coming up to congratulate me, and eventually that person was Rob. He shook my hand again, his breath terrible, and his arms scarred up. He wasn't wearing a long-sleeved shirt, rather a stained gray polo. He seemed like a filthy person all around. He started talking to me with this loud, almost demeaning tone. I did my best to just be polite, and eventually he walked back to Chelsea. This was the last time I saw him that day. Eventually I saw Chelsea sitting by herself at the table, so I asked Allie where that Rob guy went. She had no idea either. After a while of Chelsea sitting by herself, Allie went up to her to ask her where her date was. Chelsea didn't know. She hadn't seen him in an hour. Chelsea also explained that they met in rehab, and that she had only gone out with him 4 times. Allie grew concerned with this man being here after hearing this. We asked our parents and some close family to look around for the man, to confirm if he was still there or not. There was some concerning news when one of my relatives said that some of the gifts in the room where the gifts were being stored were missing. We immediately attributed this to Rob, and had an employee ask over the microphone for everybody to keep an eye out for Rob. Chelsea wanted to call his cell, but she couldn't find her phone. This put a slight damper on
he got that too.
But we didn't let it ruin our wedding day. Our parents called the police and dealt with them on the side, with the help of Chelsea giving information about Rob. After the wedding reception, a few close friends came back to our hotel room for a little after party of sorts. Chelsea had texted Allie asking for our home address because she had to drop off her gift that she forgot to give. Allie
Stop.
responded, and then our good time was interrupted by a distressing phone call from Chelsea's phone number. Allie turned off the music and put it on speakerphone. There was a male's breathing on the other end, like horror movie shit, like he was trying to creep us out. Allie kept asking where Chelsea was, to no avail. Eventually the person on the other end hung up. Allie called her grandma, who was the only one close enough with Chelsea to know where she would be, and she confirmed that Chelsea was staying with her for the night. Chelsea got on the phone and said she lost her phone at the wedding, and she didn't know her Apple ID or password, therefore she couldn't even track it with Find My iPhone. Our best guess was that it was that Rob guy. We were now concerned that he knew our address and that we weren't home. We were too drunk to go home, so we asked my dad to stay there for the night and watch the house. He gladly did so. And the next morning, we woke up to texts and missed calls from my dad. He said someone kept tapping on different windows to the house, as if to be messing with him. He called the police, but they didn't find anyone. That same day, we went to the police station to see what could be done about pursuing Rob, who we suspected was the one behind all of this. But without video cameras catching the thief in Comber Hall, and given that Chelsea's phone had been turned off or destroyed, there was little to nothing the police could do.
Yeah, because
Chelsea told us that she and Rob had gotten into a verbal argument, and that he blamed us for whatever she was saying. He thought we didn't like him, and in his words, we sabotaged him. This just further led us to believe he was responsible for that weird phone call and coming to our house in an attempt to scare or harass us. We never saw or heard from that Rob guy again, and we have only started to further distance ourselves from Chelsea after that.
Yep, something you can't do, because I ain't gonna lie. It could have been Rob, or it may have not been. Hey, it sound like they ain't never had no proof. They just wanted to jump to him because they don't like him. Not gonna lie to you. Hey, I would have went there too, because man, this is exactly why I don't like people bringing people around where it's like family shit, and no one knows this person but you. Yo, that is weird to me, because you don't, especially when it be like, I only knew this dude for like 2 weeks, or I only knew this girl for like 2 weeks. Whatever it is you bringing around, it's like, dog, you don't know nothing about this person. They could be legit scoping this mug out. But hey, I don't know. I just be too paranoid all the time. My bad. Stop doing that. Then the next week, everybody be on the phone. You heard so and so did. Yeah, I knew this shit was coming.
Only started
we ain't
to
get
further
personal in this
distance
video.
ourselves from
Just
Chelsea
watching it.
after that.
Told
From Chelsea after that. I had a pretty low-key beach wedding, mostly just family and friends. My wife, who I'll just call Trisha, invited more people than me for sure. She even invited her ex-boyfriend Kyle. I didn't know exactly how I felt about that at the time, but I acted accepting and fine with it because I knew they remained close friends. There were about 75 people at the wedding ceremony, including Kyle. I didn't pay it much mind the day of the wedding because it was such a big day and my mind was obviously racing. Kylo was friendly to me. But
I ain't gonna lie, bro. That shit seems some kind of way when you get mad all you want. Oh my god, you can't do the. It's okay with being cool with your ex. I get it, dog. I'm even one that say, yo, I don't have any relationships where I ended on bad terms. That's cool. Hey, it ain't like we still close friends, but it's just whatever. It ain't nothing bad, whatever. So let's say if we are just still cool, whatever. Oh, if we see each other randomly. Oh, hey, how you doing? Oh, hey, how you doing? Boom, boom, life good, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. But I would not invite them to my fucking wedding. That it does not make sense to me at all. You can say what you want. I would have divorced right there. You can say what you want, dog. Yep. That because I can see me first in there playing it off like, yeah, I do, and I'd be sitting there, I'd be zoning out like, I can't believe this motherfucker really. Yeah, hold up, dog. I don't want to do this no more. I don't care. Wow. Now, yeah, this is a
I knew they
double horror
remained
story.
close friends.
Let's go back.
There were about 75 people at the wedding ceremony, including Kyle. I didn't pay it much mind the day of the wedding because it was such a big day and my mind was obviously racing. Kyle was friendly to me, but throughout the wedding reception, I noticed Kyle would constantly be talking to Trisha, and when he wasn't talking to her, he'd be looking in her general direction. I mean, Trisha and I were married now. It's not like he had any shot at all. So at the time, I started to think maybe I
But
was
he's
just being a little
imagining
too paranoid.
Being in your
General
shoes, I
Kyle
think.
would constantly be talking to Trisha, and when he wasn't talking to her, he'd be looking in her general direction. I mean, Trisha and I were married now. It's not like he had any shot at all. So at the time, I started to think maybe I was just being a little too paranoid. even if it was slightly annoying. Kyle came alone to the wedding though, which I thought was just a tad weird that he didn't bring a date. My wife and I stayed in a fancy waterfront hotel that night, and the next day we went back home. A couple people who didn't make the wedding came by the house to congratulate us and drop off gifts. Surprisingly, Kyle stopped by as well. Trisha and I had recently moved into a new house together.
I was about to say, how you know where I live at, dog? How, even if he say she gave me the address, still divorced. So why would you get your... If that's the case, why...
Wedding came by the house to congratulate us and drop off gifts. Surprisingly, Kyle stopped by as well. Trisha and I had recently moved into a new house together, and
Maybe
Kyle
he
claimed
stalked
to have stopped by to check out our new place and to drop off his gift that he didn't get to give us yesterday. He handed us, well, Trisha specifically, an envelope and a little foot-long teddy bear holding a heart. On the heart was our initials, which I actually found to be a nice, thoughtful gift. We gave Kyle a tour of the house and he stayed for a beer, but after that he said he'd better get going and congratulated us once more before leaving. Inside the envelope was a card containing $100.
I'll take that.
As nice as I thought the gifts were, I still believed he had some serious feelings for Trisha.
He do.
I asked her to ease back on the friendship a bit.
Give me that little 100 before, hey, that didn't come off here again. He gotta bring another 100. No, I'm playing, dog, for real. Don't take money from these people, because, hey, you don't take a gift from them, dog. You're not getting the money back. I'm not going to lie to you. I know I just contradict myself, but it would have never went that far with my story regardless. But if it did, yeah, you're not getting the money back. No.
Some serious feelings for Trisha, and I asked her to ease back on the friendship a bit. She couldn't see what I saw, though, apparently. She swore up and down that they were just very close friends and that there were no feelings left on either side. Trisha put the teddy bear next to some of the other gifts on our dressers. While my wife and I were in bed together having a romantic moment, I stopped her when I heard this weird noise. I couldn't put my finger on what it was, but it sounded like a small electrical component. I looked around for my phone and found it was on my nightstand. I chalked it up to being a vibration from a text notification. Like half an hour later, laying in bed with the light off, I once again brought up Kyle, asking if he'd texted her since the day before. She said he has, and I got a little annoyed. I repeated myself, saying I don't want her talking to him anymore. She got a little mad at me for accusing her of being interested in him at all. I assured her he was still interested in her. Why else would he stick around in his ex's life like this? She got back at me with her assurance that she doesn't view him romantically at all, that she's no longer attracted to him, and that she broke up with him for a reason. She followed this with she will ease back on her contact with him. I apologized for coming at her like that, and we went to sleep. The next day, when I got home from work, Trisha exclaimed that Kyle randomly blocked her on Instagram, and when she texted him asking what's wrong, he replied, "What do you care? I heard the things you said." When she tried texting back asking what he was talking about, she saw that he blocked her number now too. I wondered if maybe she butt-dialed him on her phone while we had that conversation the previous night. But when she checked her call history, his name wasn't there. I wasn't angry,
got a walkie-talkie.
Him blocking her meant I was right. He did still have feelings, and now he'd be gone. That night while in bed, we talked about it some more. Then I heard the little electronic vibrating sound again. I looked at the teddy bear on the dresser. Then I got up and went to pick it up, and my heart dropped.
She don't see no red flags in people. I'm calling it now. She just don't. She's one of those ones where they just go over her head. Whoop, 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 whoop. This dude is this batshit crazy. There's no way he hit this much to the point where you still felt like I got away, got a new marriage, and I'm gonna still invite him to the wedding. There's no way. This is cuckoo, man. And you don't even see how strong this dude is pushing up. Of course, I hear it. Yeah, you ain't got no feelings for him. Oh, I don't look at him like that. That's cool. That's how it should work. But that ain't how he looking at it. Nah. So he gonna keep inching in, inching in, trying to make a move. And we look for it, dude. I ain't gonna lie to you. When we see the right move, boop, we will make it. Oh, there's some issues going on with the marriage. Let me kind of zoom in there. Oh, I see she a little vulnerable. Let me work my way in there. Come on, stop playing, dude. Man, I hope they end in
electronic
divorce.
Vibrating sound again. I looked at the teddy bear on the dresser. Then I got up and went to pick it up, and my heart dropped. I grabbed a knife from the kitchen and started to tear the bear open. Trisha realized it immediately too. The inside of the bear's head was a square electrical component wired to what was very obviously a camera behind the left eye and a microphone box wired to the left ear.
Oh, damn.
This was connected to some kind of Bluetooth device that would probably allow a phone to send and receive data. We went to the police that night with the teddy bear and filed a police report. We then hired a lawyer and pressed charges against Kyle for invasion of privacy, and the judge ruled in our favor and required Kyle to pay us $15,000 each. Trisha also got a restraining order against him, and that was the end of him in our lives. Though we still do sometimes worry that he may pay us an unexpected visit. If he was crazy enough to wire a teddy bear to spy on us and possibly watch us in bed together, who knows how far someone like that is capable of going.
I thought it was a walkie-talkie. I ain't gonna lie though, my very first thought was the bear was walking, but I was like, no, that wouldn't be real. Oh, Dexter laboratory ass nigga made a bear. Stop playing.
I live in a safe town, the kind of town that you can leave your car doors unlocked. Hell, you can usually get away with leaving the doors to your house unlocked.
Beautiful.
The crime rate is very low, and I live on a dead-end block. I had just gotten home from work around 8 p.m. after a 12-hour shift and was preparing a late dinner when the phone rang. The second I picked up, I heard the sound of the person on the other end hanging up. I don't know if this has any correlation with what's to come,
Craig.
but if it does, that's even more horrifying. On nights where I get home late, especially after 12-hour shifts, usually I'll just cook, eat, clean up, take a shower, then lay in bed watching TV for an hour before going to sleep. This was one of those nights. I was physically and mentally exhausted, which led me to making what I learned that night was a serious mistake. I was laying in bed watching The Sopranos for my third run. Sometimes I'll drift off to sleep with the TV still on when I'm just completely beat, and that's exactly what happened this night. I woke up to the TV still playing The Sopranos. I had slept through 2 episodes. I felt around the bed for the remote and turned it off. In the now freshly silent room, I was able to hear little creaks in the wood under the carpet. I felt adrenaline kick in as I looked across the dark room, and I felt I could vaguely see the shape of a very wide figure. As I aimed the remote at the TV to turn it back on to light up the room, before the TV was even on, I started choking on my own spit as I tried to say, "Please leave." The TV came back on, and the room lit up a tint of blue, revealing her. This woman in a wedding dress, looking at me, with the veil covering her face. I tried to scream at first, but nothing came out of my mouth because I was just in pure shock. I sat up, pressed against the headboard of my bed, frozen. That's the best way I can describe what I was doing in that moment. The woman in the dress, whose face I could barely see, walked over to the bed, whispering, "Where is my groom?" over and over. But each time she said it, she got louder. Her whisper quickly turned to a yell, and she grabbed the edge of my mattress and started shaking it. I screamed back at her to leave me alone, and I got off the bed, pushed her, and ran to the bathroom across the hall and locked the door. She followed me, trying to open the door, banging on it and repeating the words, "Where's my groom?" I yelled at her I'm calling the cops, and luckily I had my cell phone on me. The woman was crying now on the other side of the door, still knocking and banging. The last thing I heard her say was, "I have to get to my wedding." I heard her stomp down my stairs, screaming and crying. Then I heard the front door slam shut. I was on the phone with 911, and I explained what just happened. I checked the living room, and she was gone. I stepped outside to see if I could see which way she ran, but...
Excuse me, sir, what's going on? This crazy hoe just came to my motherfucking house and shook my mattress. Come get this bitch. Talking about damn wedding, it ain't here. You gotta go to that mother. Then you back go get your damn groom. Your groom ain't here. The groom is the girl, right? Or the bride. The groom is the man. The bride is the woman, right? Yeah, he ain't here. Go. Oh, that'll trip me out, dog. Cause you'll first wake up when you first see it, you'll think it's a dream, but that might never go away. Oh shit. Fuck. This motherfucker shook the bed. I'd have been scared the groom gonna come next.
I was on the phone with 911 and I explained what just happened. I checked the living room and she was gone. I stepped outside to see if I could see which way she ran, but she was out of sight. A police officer showed up shortly, and I described her as some larger woman in a
Look,
white
she
wedding
Hulk
dress
looking
and
at. I was about to
veil.
say, yeah, she had
How
muscle.
she was screaming, "Where's my groom?" and I have to get to my wedding. I couldn't help with the direction she ran to. It was either down the only direction the street goes, or the woods to the right. Because of my exhaustion after my 12-hour shift, I had forgotten to simply lock my door, something I honestly never even thought was a problem in my neighborhood. But this just goes to show that even the best of neighborhoods, you're not always safe from crazy people out there. I think this woman was off her rocker and belonged in a mental asylum. And I hope police or somebody found her roaming the streets that night and brought her somewhere to get her help.
Oh, he said off her rocker. That's what he said, off her rock. I was about to say, well, damn. Bet you locked them doors after that, though, boy. Doggy ball, I ain't even gonna lie to you. That last story tripped me the hell out. The reason why is because as the story was going on, I thought it was gonna play out to be one of those ones where at the end it revealed like, okay, it just turned out to be a bad dream, because that's what it sounded like for real. And I think the last couple, maybe the last one, within the last couple ones, whatever. Regardless, recently watching some Mr. Nightmares, we got some videos, some stories that ended with those weird dream stories, and I love when we get those ones because we always talk that dream-ish. But we're gonna do that today though. But that's where where I thought it was gonna go though. But no, it just turned out it just sounded like somebody was really off something, really out of there, and your door happened to be open. They came in. Luckily, they ain't hurt you because it sounded like they could have if they wanted to, and sounded like they could have if they wanted to. Because dog looks strong as hell, dog. But either way, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Enjoy my day. Yo, you go ahead and do the same thing. Enjoy your day, morning, evening, night, whenever you're watching this video, dog. But I'm out.